Right class, your mission today is to find the equation of a line using y equals mx plus c. You need to know what these keywords mean so you understand the question if it ever comes up. So work out the gradients for the lines below. This is the starter. The gradient is the y, so how far up it goes, and run or across. Run is how far across, how long it goes across the x-axis. So let's look at these questions. Give them a go yourself. Pause the video and I'm going to go through it. Now this gradient is 1 because you can see that is 6 squares. The rise, how far up it is going, and across is 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. Can you see that's 5 divided by 5. Now this gradient would be minus 1 because it's going downhill. Remember, downhill from left to right is a negative gradient. Sometimes it's just easier if you just look for the... Can you see that's exactly 1 here? And that's exactly 1 here. It crosses those corners or vertices of the square, and 1 divided 1 is 1. So always try to make the easiest triangle you can. For example, you can see 2 here, 2 there. So that's how far up it is and across. Make a perfect right angle triangle, and that gradient is 1. Equally, you can just find a 1 block and 1 block. So here you go, you've got 3 here. So the rise is 3 and it's going across by 6. So 3 divided by 6 you should know is a half. And again, you can see the gradient is the same. If I show you here, that's 1, 2, so 1 divided by 2 equals 0.5. The most common mistake is people forget and do the x divided by the y, or how far across it is divided by the y. But if you did that, you get a gradient of 2 and it will mess up your answer. So be careful there. Now the y-intercept, if you remember, it's where it crosses the y-axis. So actually, if I wanted to write the gradients of these lines, I could do that quite easily. This will be y equals 0.5x, and the y-intercept is 0, so I don't need to write plus 0 because it won't make a difference. This one be y equals minus x, because I don't need to add the 1, and this, you could see, is a line y equals x. Once you can do this, find the gradient, you can find the gradient of the line from a graph very easily. So let me just do one example for you, but you can pause the video and just give it a go yourselves if you want to. So let's have a look. Can you see that's 4 and 2? Or you could make an easier one and say that's 2 and 1. So you'll know 2 divided by 1 equals 2. So the gradient is 2 and we call that m. Yeah, the gradient is called the slope as well, same word. So the gradient is 2. Now the y-intercept, you can see where it crosses the y-axis is 3. So that will make the equation of the line y equals 2x plus 3 using this formula here. Let's do the next one. So it doesn't matter what triangle you find. So that's blue line's not related to the m equals 2, guys. It is related to the intercept is being 3. So that's the c. Gradient is 2 and that's 2. So let's see if you got this one right if you pause it, or here's another example. So that's 3 up and 6 squares across. So that's 3 divided by 6, which is a half. So the gradient is a half. And the y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis is 1. So we know the equation of this line is y equals a half x plus 1. The gradient next to the x, the intercept, the number on its own. It's so easy to do once you find the gradient of a line. And the higher level of this is to find the gradient between 2 points, and we'll do that in another video. These are the key notes to be able to answer any of these types of questions. Step 1, find the gradient. Step 2, find where the line crosses the y-axis, and just write the equation in this form. Right, so you can give these questions a go. They are exam questions.
That the geometric distribution of antagonists in any gun battle is a statistically predictable element.
The gun cutter treats the gun as a total weapon, each fluid position representing a maximum kill zone, inflicting maximum damage on the maximum number of opponents, while keeping the defender clear of the statistically traditional trajectories of return fire.
Right guys, let's see if you can complete these exam questions yourselves. They're only worth 3 marks. And once you get this, it's so easy, and these will be bank marks, marks in your pocket for the future. Now, how would I do this? I'm going to show you how I would do this one. Personally, find a nice little triangle here. I can see that's 2 by 1, so the rise is 2 divided by 1, so 2 divided by 1 equals 2. So the gradient equals 2, which we call m. And can you see here, that's the y-intercept, which is 1. So we get y, substitute that into the formula, y equals mx plus c. So m is 2, x, the c is 1, and we're done. Easy 3 marks there, right? Now you could do it this way. Find the gradient using the slightly bigger triangle, but you'll still get the same gradient because it's a straight line. So you get 4 divided by 2, which equals 2. The gradient's 2. You can see here the y-intercept is 1. Substitute that into the formula, and quite easily done. Right, the answer for the second one, look at this, that's 2. Rise is 2 and the run is 2. Or the change in y is 2 and the change in x is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. What's the y-intercept here? Minus 1. Substitute that into the equation y equals mx plus c. And you get y equals x minus 1. Very straightforward. Well done if you got those two. Because 1 times x is still x. That's why we don't need to write the 1. It's extra writing. That's what's brilliant about maths. We try to make things simpler and write less. Right, here's 2 examples, but I think you can do these. But you just need to remember that the line slopes down from left to right, so it's a negative gradient. So actually, I'm just going to let you pause the video, give those a go. I think you can do those. Off you go. Remember, find easier triangles if you can. I could see there's a 3 up there. The rise is 3 over 1, so 3 divided by 1 is 3. But remember, it's negative gradient, so it will be negative 3. Gradient is minus 3. Remember that. That's the most common error when people do these. They forget it's a negative gradient. Do not put minus 3 in, and that's how you could lose a mark. The y-intercept, you should get that straight away. That's worth 1 mark out of 3 if you get the y-intercept. That's minus 3. Substitute those numbers into y equals mx plus c. So m here would be minus 3, and the c is minus 3. And there you can see it right there. Perfect. Off you go. Here we go. 4 divided by 5. It's negative gradient again. So the equation of the line is minus 4 over 5x plus 3, because you can see the y-intercept is 3, and you just substitute those figures in, and that is perfect. Let's test your understanding now. 2 more exam questions. Have a think about this one. Pause the video, give it a go. I'm going to do this for you. So let's have a look. I like this nice triangle here, nice and easy. rise is 2 and 1. So m, the gradient, equals 2 divided by 1. We know that's 2. What do we need to find now is c. So the y-intercept equals -1. Substitute that into the equation y equals mx plus c. So we've got y. Now, what did I tell you? It's -2, isn't it? Because it's going downhill. So y equals -2x, the y-intercept is -1, -1. Now later on, the higher grade topic, and that will be 5 to 5 plus, is finding the equation of a line through 2 coordinates. But I'm just going to show you how it works here, and there'll be another lesson on this in the future. So you can see it working. So in this case, we can actually, because we've got the grid, and if you have the grid in the exam like this, I'll just plot those lines. It's a straight line, so as long as 2 points are plotted correctly, just draw a straight line through it. Perfect. Look, we can see the y-intercept is 7 already. Get 1 mark for that. Find the gradient. So the rise is 2 and 4. Remember it's negative, so m, the gradient, equals -2 divided by 4. Y-intercept is 7. You know -2 divided by 4 is -1/2. And finished. Mark it in your pocket. Hope you understood that.